Opal Singleton. I am the president and CEO of Million Kids, and this is a Million Kids Insider Alert. Please follow us on our social media so that you can stay current on the latest cases. We serve as the training and outreach coordinator for the Riverside County Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force, and we analyze cases, make new announcements. In this case, we are announcing breaking news of a major case coming out of Fresno, a very exciting case, so stay with us here. So California authorities have announced now the arrest of 43 suspected gang members. They are accused of a lot of violent activity. And they were being funded allegedly through prostitution rings and the sale of guns and narcotics. This is a massive takedown on the part of the Fresno Police Department. So 43 suspected gang members accused of drive-by shootings, murder, assault, funding the illicit activities through prostitution rings, and also through the sale of guns. So what we have here is a violent street gang, large scale, carries large guns. They're involved in assaults. They're involved in murder. They're involved in a lot of criminal activity, according to the authorities. And all of this is being financed through forced prostitution by many young people that they have recruited and put out there. So the officers believe that the suspects arrested were linked to 4 murders, 35 shootings, and over 80 other criminal acts. 37 of the gang members are apprehended and charged with state charges, and 6 more are looking at federal charges. During the operation, a total of 19 shootings were prevented. The real story here that we want to take a look at is that the law enforcement is able to see and infiltrate and understand enough of what was happening with these gangs to know that there were 2 separate days that major public shootings, mass shootings, were about to take place, and they were able to intervene. Chief Balderrama said that one of the mass shootings was expected to take place at a bar in the city, but added that neither incident took place due to the fact that the law enforcement intervened. So fantastic work on their part. But the part I want you to, the segment of this I want you to look at and understand is how gangs are financed through forced prostitution. I want you to look at these guns here, because what I want you to see is, what if you're one of those victims of sex trafficking that are being held by this gang and their guns and put out for forced prostitution? You say, if a girl gets into this, why doesn't she run? Look at those guns. Look at their violence. Look at the fact that they're willing to do mass violence. That's why once a girl is seduced or tricked into this, it is very difficult for a victim of human trafficking to get back out. Gangs are changing. They're using more technology now. It's less about blood in and blood out and more about making money, and making money everywhere they can. They use social media and video sharing websites to brag, recruit, promote, and antagonize. You don't see them standing around on the street corners with the chains. Remember the boom boxes? That dates you, okay. But they use dating sites and chat rooms to hook up with just innocent kids. They use a lot of encrypted messaging, making it difficult for law enforcement to be able to break their communication, virtual private network, VPN. And technology is replacing a lot of the street gatherings, so it's harder to find them at times. It also allows many of these gangs to operate while in prison with illegal phones and technology that's smuggled in. And we are seeing increased income with these gangs, which make them much bigger in their influence, much more threatening to the public, because it's being financed by drugs, by guns, and by human trafficking. So officials say the sex trafficking rings were actually funding this. Now, as you look at some of the people that were arrested in there, some of them are female, and we don't know what role they play. But we do understand what happens oftentimes in not only gang trafficking, but various kinds of pimping. This is what we normally would call guerrilla pimping because it's violent. It's usually a short-term recruiting process, sometimes as short as a couple of hours. And it often involves a bottom girl. This is a girl who's been recruited, who's been in the life of commercial sex, and now she gets promoted by the pimp. In this case, it might actually be a gang girl who has decided that they want to oversee forced prostitution activity to be able to earn money for the gang. They're usually tricked by false promises once they get in there. And, maybe they are looking at a relationship. Maybe they think they're going to make money. Maybe they simply go to the wrong party and get drugged and get gang raped. They are manipulated. They sometimes are immediately taken away from all their area and put into the gang where they're not allowed to return to their family unit. So that is violent kind of pimping. These gangs are using dating sites, and this is what we really have to teach our kids, our young girls especially. Tinder, Meet Me, Whisper, Scout, Plenty of Fish, all of those, they will hook up on a dating site. These are often naive and vulnerable girls that go on these sites, or maybe they become a friend with another girl. We believe that as many as 60% of girls in forced prostitution are recruited, or at least are more comfortable working with another girl, and they don't realize that's a girl that is working with the organization to, in essence, be a female pimp. Quickly, their world changes as they are broken. They are often sexed in or gang raped, drugged, beaten. They're verbally degraded. They have their photos taken. They go out on the internet. They're placed in sex ads. And these victims are forced to have many dates a day. So what happens here? This is foster kids. 60% of kids in sex trafficking across California come from the foster care system. This is the reason why Million Kids runs Million Kids Missing Kids and help the authorities to find missing and runaway kids. Homeless kids, extremely vulnerable, okay? And runaway kids. 35% of runaway kids will engage in sex trafficking within the first 48 hours. And oftentimes they're pregnant teens. But it can be any kid at all. A kid from a broken home, dropping out of school, in a rebellious phase, going on social media. Those TikTok videos are perfect for recruiting and making it all sound quite exciting. Maybe Whisper, Kik, Snapchat, all of those, as well as video game chat rooms. What do pimps look for when recruiting, whether it's a female or male pimp? You do not have to be pretty. These people will literally, if you're available and vulnerable, these people will recruit a 500-pound purple elephant and sell them. They don't care what you look like. They go on social media, and if you're going to be flirting on there, if you're going to be sending out those promiscuous videos, they're going to assume that you're available and vulnerable. Once you are there, and once they have broken you, they will place online sex ads for you, taking your photo in provocative positions and advertising you out for sale. Typically, gang sex trafficking victims are forced to have anywhere from 8 to 15 dates a day, or they don't get to eat, or they are beaten. And this is a horrendous life. Sometimes they're beaten up by the Johns. Sometimes the Johns have sex and don't pay. Other times, they get involved in having to do some very difficult and degrading kinds of things. At the end of the day, they don't get the money. All the money that they've collected that day goes over to the gang, and the gang send them back out tomorrow to get more money. So victims of gang sex trafficking are some of the most violated and difficult cases for recovery. They need significant support for recovery. And that's why we have safe houses here in Riverside County, especially. We have some excellent safe houses. The first thing they need is safe haven. They have to get away from that gang. Gangs, they have a far reach. Those that haven't been arrested will often go out and try to get back someone that has gotten out of sex trafficking. And so they need safe haven, whether it's here or if they need to be relocated away from the influence of a particular gang. They need significant medical assistance. They need legal assistance. They probably have been arrested at some point in time, and they feel like they can't get out and they can't get free. Psychological support and counseling, big issue. They need lots of support from our community. Tattoo removal, because most of these victims have been tattooed. Financial assistance so they can become independent again, and then employment assistance. So it's a great job by the Fresno Police Department and all those supporting officers. This was a massive takedown in a very short period of time that averted a lot of future crime victims as they averted these mass shootings. So great job for that, and great job for breaking down and helping those victims to get free of those gangs. If you know of anyone that's being trafficked, you can report that anonymously at 1-888-3737-888. 1-888-3737-888. That is the national hotline. This is how you reach me. I am not 911. Don't call me if you have an emergency. I am the training and outreach coordinator for the task force. So that is my role. But you can reach me at Opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org. Thank you for listening. Please share our insider alerts with others. Encourage them to go on to millionkids.org and sign up so they too can receive this kind of case announcement. We'll see you next time on Insider Alert.